We've all felt it, that heavy, sinking exhaustion when we watch the nightly news or face crises in our own lives that seem entirely unfixable. Beneath that frustration is a deeply rooted desire. We find ourselves longing for someone powerful and wise enough to step in and finally govern things perfectly, to resolve the intractable problems that we simply cannot. 2,000 years ago, the Jewish people felt that exact same political and spiritual exhaustion. They were living under the crushing weight of the Roman Empire, ruled by corrupt, often incompetent foreign leaders. But they held on to a very specific historical hope. They were waiting for a promised leader known as the Son of David. They believed a direct descendant of Israel's greatest king would rise up, drive out their Roman overlords, and restore the nation to its former glory. Curious, they desperately wanted a military commander to overthrow an empire. But what if the king they were promised was actually meant to conquer something much darker? If we look at the ancient text of 1 Chronicles chapter 17, we see the foundation of this hope. God makes a direct covenant with King David, explicitly stating, "I will establish his throne forever." Yet history unfolded in a way that seemed to shatter that promise. Centuries passed. The nation was conquered, the Davidic dynasty collapsed, and the royal family line appeared completely dead. Still, ancient prophets insisted the story wasn't over. Isaiah points to a miracle. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. It's a biological impossibility. Dead stumps don't spontaneously produce life, but God operates outside human logic. Centuries after that earthly throne was destroyed, the impossible happens. Jesus is born precisely where the lineage demanded, in Bethlehem, the city of David. From an utterly severed royal line, life breaks through. The ultimate king arrives from a family tree that the world had entirely written off. God kept his promise. But the reality of a baby born into severe poverty upended every human expectation of what raw power should look like. When Jesus begins his public ministry, he completely bypasses the political battleground. He never builds an army, and he never marches against the Roman overlords. Instead, we see the title used by the marginalized. Reading through the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, we find two blind men following Jesus, crying out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." They aren't asking for political liberation. They are begging for personal mercy. By invoking that specific royal name, they are publicly confessing that Jesus holds sovereign authority to deliver them from darkness. He stops, confirms their faith, and restores their sight. He demonstrates immediately that his expanding kingdom is defined by restoration, not military violence. Jesus operates on a scale David never could, exerting power over the roots of human suffering, sin, sickness, spiritual blindness, and death itself. When the blind men called Jesus the Son of David, they were acknowledging his right to rule over the physical and spiritual darkness in their lives. Today, invoking that same name is a declaration of personal submission to a living king. If this king has authority over the laws of nature and the sting of death, he has authority over the internal landscape of our lives. Every persistent anxiety, every family struggle, and every deep-seated weakness becomes an area where we can invite his specific royal jurisdiction. These ancient promises become tangible reality in our living rooms when we yield our most vulnerable moments to his care. The tension of daily life begins to give way to an enduring peace the moment we stop trying to control the uncontrollable and instead trust a perfectly wise and all-loving ruler. True peace is found only by giving the eternal King the crown over every part of our lives. Jesus, Son of David, take up your throne, drive out your enemies, and be our protector. Then rule with your wisdom and grace. Scatter the proud and raise up the lowly. Establish your kingdom now and forever. Amen.